Household Services for Grade 7 and 8, Week 5. Our topic is Participate in Workplace Communication. Obtain and convey workplace communication. Concepts of communication. Communication is the process of exchanging information and ideas through a common system of symbol, signs, or behavior. There are many means of communication. To be an effective and valuable member of your workplace, it is important that you become skilled in all of the different methods of communication that are appropriate. The communication process for communication to occur, it must pass from a sender to a receiver. This must occur irrespectively of the form of communication. For communication to be effective, it must be understood by the receiver and be able to respond to it. This means that total communication involves speaking, reading, listening, and reasoning skills. As communication passes from the source to the receiver, there is plenty of opportunity for its original meaning to change or alter. Therefore, listening, reasoning, and feedback is an important part of the process as it is an opportunity for the sender to make sure the receiver has understood the message. The other consideration is the noise associated with the communication. What else is happening? What are the distractions? Noise can have a big impact on the message the receiver decodes. Barriers to communication. In many communications, the message may not be received exactly the way the sender intended, and hence it is important that the communicator seeks feedback to check that their message is clearly understood. Barriers can be specific terms that can prevent communication within an organization. The skills of active listening, clarification, and reflection, which we will discuss shortly, may help, but the skilled communicator also needs to be aware of the barriers to effective communication. There exist many barriers to communication, and these may occur at any stage in the communication process. Barriers may lead to your message becoming inaccurate, and you therefore risk wasting both time and or money by causing confusion and misunderstanding. The following are the common barriers to effective communication: the use of jargon or unfamiliar terms, emotional barriers and something that is not acceptable to mention or say, lack of attention, interest, distraction, or irrelevance to the receiver, differences in perception and viewpoint, physical disabilities such as hearing problems or speech difficulties, physical barriers to non-verbal communication. Other barriers also includes language differences and difficulty to understand unfamiliar accents, expectations and make bias which may lead to false statement. People often hear what they expect to hear rather than what is actually said and jump to incorrect conclusions. Cultural differences. The principles of social interaction vary greatly in different cultures, as do the way in which emotions are expressed. For example, the concept of personal space varies between cultures and between different social settings. Types of communication: verbal communication and nonverbal communication. The verbal communication is communication involving words, both spoken and written. The nonverbal communication is made up of messages transmitted by our facial expressions and the way we move. Our body language and our attitude are important when we are communicating with guests. You should always make eye contact with the guest and smile. Use a pleasant tone of voice. Use hand gestures that accord with what you say. and maintain distance that shows that you are listening attentively to the guest without being too close or too far away. Sources of information. There are a lot of different sources of information available. These are the following lists that can be the sources of information: your team members, supervisor, department heads, suppliers, trade personnel, local government, and industry bodies. Medium used in transferring information and ideas. Many different types of mediums are used as communication channel. Here is the list of mediums used in transferring information and ideas. First, memorandum, a communication that contains directive, advisory, or informative. Second, circular, a paper intended for wide distribution. Third, notice, a written or printed announcement. Fourth, information discussion. Fifth, follow-up or verbal instructions. Sixth, face-to-face communication. And seventh, mass media, a medium of communication such as newspapers, radio, or television that is designed to reach the mass of the people. Storing, filing, and managing information and forms. The focus of storing, filing, and managing information and forms is to store documents in an organized and secure way that still allows information or forms to be found easily. Here is the filing system you need to know. Number 1, manual filing system. It is a structured set of personal data that are accessible according to certain criteria. Number 2, computer-based filing system. A system of organizing files that utilizes hard drive space or network space. The system may either be computer software, an internet-based program, or a simple file and folder system on the desktop of a computer. Workplace interactions and protocols. For businesses to function as desired, managers and lower-level employees must be able to interact clearly and effectively with each other through verbal communication or non-verbal communication to achieve specific goals. Here are some ways of communication or non-verbal communication to achieve the said specific goals. Number 1, face-to-face, within each other's sight or presence. Number 2, telephone, an instrument for reproducing sounds at a distance. Number 3, electronic and two-way radio, being a medium by which information is transmitted electronically. Number 4, written, including memos and instruction and forms. Number 5, nonverbal, including gestures, signals, signs, and diagrams. A time to remember. This is Maylene Huliganga. Thank you for watching.